All right. Hey, green team. How's it going today? There's a little election going on today, and we've got our teams have been doing all kinds of phone calling and texting, and we've got some of our folks out there working as poll watchers and have written postcards. And, it's an election season now, not just an election day. So if you haven't voted, get out there and vote. But if you have and you just want to think about how can I actually take action and make a difference, then you're in the right place because today I'm so happy to be introducing you, or maybe you already know Derrick because I have the opportunity to talk with him now and again. So Derrick Mugisha is joining us from Uganda today, and we're going to be talking about biodiversity, habitat, and how you can work together and get support for your projects. So good evening to you, Derrick. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How's your? Is it morning that side?
Yeah,
It's always morning
it
the
is.
side. Yeah. So it's evening here. It's an amazing season. Challenging. Still, COVID goes on and it comes with all the challenges. But yeah, we happy to progress.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that Mother Nature is just, I went and took a hike yesterday and she's just doing what she does. The rivers are flowing and the trees are there and growing and providing oxygen, and they're not on lockdown. And they're, you know, providing everything that they do for us 24/7. And there's a lot to be grateful for sure. All right. So Derrick, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? You're into so many different things. I would be afraid that I would forget some of the main things, but do you want to start with just kind of a quick intro before we dive into talking about biodiversity?
Yeah, sure. By name's Derrick Mugisha, country Uganda. Work. I do my work with Earth Day Network Africa. I'm part of the regional team that is driving the Africa program as a regional director. And I also do some work with the Uganda Youth Biodiversity Network. It's a youth-based institution that engages young people in the United Nations Convention of Biological Diversity. So there I'm working as the national coordinator, coordinating young people east, west, north, south. So it's a very big opportunity that the young people can be part of decision making processes, both local and international. So that's where we do our work with the UN biodiversity. Part of the convention, and seeing that all parties, all countries that signed on to on that convention can really continue committing, taking action, availing resources, and seeing that we can take biodiversity back to the path of restoration, and at least by 2050. But what we are seeing in the new strategic plan shows, yeah, we can really have that planet if we just commit to taking action.
So, Derek, before we talk about that, how did you get into this? I mean, you're a young guy. You could have been doing anything pretty much in the world. How did you get into this field?
Um, you know, it's always about inspiration. I started my work when I was at campus. There's a lot of fears that go around there, more so when you don't know how you're going to get employment, or when you study all these concepts and confuse you, and also asking yourself, do they also confuse someone that has never been to a science class, someone that has never been to an environment class? And then I felt like there was need to see that we can start having the actions do by ourselves. So through my work there, I founded Fika with a team of four others, and then we started doing our actions at university, and seeing that through those actions, then I was selected to be among the only lucky 50 out of over 10,000 applications that uh, you know came to be part of the GYBN Africa workshop. And then I was one of the Ugandan. Actually, I was only Ugandan. Other countries had around two. I was only one, but then I was like, I think this is an opportunity to see that I need to get other young people on board, to see that they can also participate in these kind of conversations. So I started my work there. Then part of the next steps, I was asked to start up a national chapter that is going on well. We have, over 300 members, young people, and over 20 youth organizations that go in there. So as well through that kind of work, I then got lucky, be employed at Earth Day Network. It has over 50 years of existence, so that's really an amazing. And then to see that I'm one of those young people, the 9 that were selected to also work at Earth Day from Africa at that very age. Not much experience. I just commit myself to see that I need to see myself on the table, because no one really gives you the chance to be on the table if you do not commit yourself to say, hey, I also need to be part of this, and this is what I'm doing. How can we work together? How can we further continue having engagements? And that's how I get all these opportunities, be part of all these forums, and they're quite amazing forums. Every time I'm invited to speak, I'm always happy to share, and I'm always to do this. It's part of me. It's now
Yeah.
it's now me.
That's
So
that's really neat. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
what you're saying is that you keep putting yourself out there, and
Mhm.
you have to believe in yourself first before
And again, you have to show up.
somebody else can believe in you.
You have to show up, because if you don't show people that you are really interested, they will not know you're interested. If you don't put your work out there, if you're not using social media for the social good, if you're just seated doing your work quietly and then you don't share out in forums, networking with other networks, joining other youth groups or community groups, or volunteering, you won't know how the best thing. That's why I say volunteer, show up, take action, expand, go on. And
Right.
that's why the world is here. That's why we are here. We just want to see others progress, and then we are leaving that kind of legacy.
And yeah, and I think that's the thing is that a lot of us were more pointed towards be a good student, get
Mhm.
a degree, get a job, but really it's that community weaving, the community building part that really is showing you the opportunities where you can really lead the way rather than being led. So before we get into too much of that, so will you tell us a little bit about what what do people need to know about what's going on with biodiversity? Um, you mentioned some recent reports. Where should people really start to figure out what the heck is going on with biodiversity right now, and what are the recommendations?
Yeah. So the first step, we have a UN body that is responsible for biodiversity. We have a convention that so many countries committed to or signed on around 1980s. And this is something that it showed countries that they're really interested in biodiversity. So if you go to the website unbiodiversity.org, you find that it will show you what's happening in the world of biodiversity, conversations, conferences, workshops, activities, commitments, countries, uh, what are they doing, the next steps. There's something called the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, the NBSAPs, and that's where countries always report on their actions or things they're going to work on. And you find that it's the same. All countries have to come up with an NBSAP. In Uganda, we have now NBSAP 2, and that's where our country always says, hey, we're going to do this for biodiversity to take it back to the path of recovery, and also other countries as well. So when you look at all recent reports by the international, IPBES, and also, from WWF, Living Nature Index, it always tells you what's the current state of biodiversity globally. And if you remember, the report that came out last year showed 100 million species are getting extinct, and that's by this year. That's really alarming, because how many species do we have anyway? So 100 million species, that's a big, big, big loss for this planet. And also seeing that the recent report says 68% of global wildlife population has disappeared. 68%. That means we are left with only a portion, the remainder of the 68% to 100. So That shows really there's amazing bit to say. But there's someone who's asking themselves what biodiversity is. I'm sure there's someone who wants to know what biodiversity is at this kind of point. And you find that I would define biodiversity as um, you know, the species that we have, their numbers, there are different types, the habitats where they stay, and to see that this genetic, the genetic composition of this species, and you find that if you put all those together, you're getting something called biodiversity. Bio means life, and then diversity means, the different types of species, the difference in everything that we do, because we all different, including human beings. And every time we are discussing biodiversity, looks like human beings take themselves out. They believe in talking about the birds, the wildlife, the lions and everything, the lakes and rivers, and they forget that human beings are part of biodiversity, because we are also from different regions. We are different in terms of characters, where we stay. I'm sure you're where you are in Africa, and that kind of diversity in us. And you find that we are also male and female. And you find that even animals, wildlife, are also male and female. And what we're trying to say is, can we have a world where people live in harmony with nature, and where we can have, I always give an example, the streets of our road called Kampala Road. Imagine if we had the elephant moving around the street. I'm also moving around the street, and we see this big man standing and he's enjoying his, trees and moving around. And I'm also enjoying my walk going around. And that's the kind of world. Even the Bible talks about biodiversity. By the way, during creation, God created all these creatures, so many beautiful creatures, the butterflies, the birds. I remember that story of the Noah's Ark, where they were moving to the ark. It was quite amazing. That's the beauty of nature. It's not going to be us only reading about these things in the Bible. We should be living with these species. We should be seeing and happy to find them where they are. They're happy. We should not just trade them for the sake of us making money. How
Right.
about my grandkids? What will they see if I tell them it's an elephant in the book? They say, I've never seen an elephant, and I'll tell them there's nowhere to see an elephant. How will they feel? How will they feel when you tell them we once had forests of different types? We had mahogany trees, we had, name it, the different, so many types of tree species. And then we're just saying them, we once had them. Of course, the first question will be, what happened? And
So
where were you? Yeah,
yeah,
where were you?
exactly.
So,
Okay, so this is perfect. So this brings us to that question. So,
mhm,
what can people do? What do you recommend? There's this biodiversity loss. I think that leaves people
mhm,
very heartbroken. Think about rhinos and elephants and different insect species and tree species dying off.
mhm.
So how can we turn that around? What can people actually do?
I think the first step to action should be you appreciating the value of nature, because if you do not appreciate, that means you won't really conserve or protect or do anything. I think the first step should be you accepting that there are a lot of things we benefit from nature, because it's true, we benefit, all our livelihoods actually benefit some point on nature, everything, because you want to breathe, you want to have some clean water today, you want to have some good food, some nutritious food, some food that contributes to your body. That's also
Right.
biodiversity. We have so many food species out there. So the first step is for you to appreciate the fact that biodiversity is us, it's around us, and it benefits us every day, every minute, every second. That's the first step to doing action. Acceptancy. The debate always comes on biodiversity, climate, and people say, hey, how can I'm into climate advocacy, how can I click myself also to biodiversity? It's the same. You reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, you're contributing to the biodiversity. The species will breathe, because when it's too hot, also they'll be affected by the heat. Not only you being, seeing all these things, flooding also kills so many out there. All these extreme weather events also affect them. So the first thing is we are in this thing together. So what are the things to do? There's a document that has 52 tips towards biodiversity conservation. There are so many as that. So I'm just going to be brief on all of them. There are 52, quite very many. The first step.
Where is that document? What document is that?
Yeah, so you can check this document at ec.europa.eu. It's a EU document that the biodiversity team put down together.
Okay.
So it's called 52 tips to biodiversity. You can just Google it. It will come. It has all these marvelous tips that we can do on a daily. And but of course, I know there are those that are doing the challenge. I don't know if there are those that are doing some changes related to biodiversity. But briefly, I will just go through all these tips just to share some slightly.
Maybe not all of them.
Yeah, I can
because
just I can just be so fast.
I think that we want to make sure that we talk about that. We do have people that are working on tree planting projects, and maybe just give us, if someone was to start a team in their community, how about, let's just give 3 examples. I'll post the link to that document. What are 3 examples that a team could do that would really help with biodiversity?
So if at this I'm told, Derrick, you get a team of 5, you're addressing a cause called biodiversity loss. First things, some people are into tree species, trying to revive them, trying to conserve them and have them stay on this planet. So that, because actually they contribute differently as well. There are those that absorb carbon on a faster rate, and there are those that store a lot of carbon. And there's so, if you look at a mahogany tree and you're looking at the carbon content that it stores, it's amazing. So how many are you really planting trees, and which type of trees are you planting? Most people are now planting trees that are only for commercial use, and not really looking at absorbing the greenhouse gas emissions. And then those species, because they take long, like 20 years a tree. So what really happens if you started planting a tree, if you are young, by 20 years, you would have had this tree by yourself, and it's grown, it has all these branches. You can do quite amazing things with that tree. So I'm not only saying they cannot do the commerce with the trees, but it matters which type of trees you're actually planting.
Okay,
the other one is,
that's perfect. So tree planting, not just for commerce, but thinking about carbon sequestration and wildlife habitat as something to promote, and the biodiversity of the tree species. Okay, excellent.
That is trees.
All right.
Now we have also fish. So we have fish. How about you set up a fish pond, and you're going to harvest, and you're going to put in place all these fish species in one place. You're going to look after them. First, there are those who are going to talk about economics. Africa is a poor, it's a poor continent. We are broke. We are everything. But imagine you have this fish pond. First, it's putting together all these fish, species all together. That's biodiversity already. And then the more they are, the more you continue having them in plenty. You can even sell off a few, because the pond could be full with all these fish and you have nowhere to take the rest. So you can sell off, but then you're conserving the others. So also having a fish pond is a project of its own. How many fish ponds can we have in a community? Look at an acre. How many can you put down there? That's another idea, another venture.
It's kind of like, you're talking about it's like farming or ranching,
fish farming,
right? Fish farming or ranching, but with a biodiversity perspective and with a restoration. Okay, all right, that's good. All right, what's
the third one? I'll talk about urban gardens, or I'm sure you want to test a vegetable right now. You want to have something green that's going to contribute to your body. You want to have fruits around you each and every second. You want to be having a bite on a mango, or having some oranges, having some, name all the fruits you want to have. You want to have all these, so having an urban garden, something simple around you. I'm sure there's someone doing an urban garden in the challenge. I know someone who's really close to me. And imagine how she's doing that amazing work. She's having sukuma wiki and other other vegetables around her. So having that urban garden, not necessarily having a big land, but also having the simple urban garden. You're having your simple fruits. Maybe you're staying in an urban region on your rooftop. Your windows are have those plants, crops around you. Your backyard, your parking yard, your compound.
We have so many
around our homes.
We have so many challengers that are not just doing it themselves, but they're doing it as a team. And so one person in Bangladesh, Debsri, or she's in the US, she has connections in Bangladesh and other countries. They're all I think they have 11 members now. things that come through their kitchen. They're seeing if there's any seeds or anything they can regrow. And so they're all doing this regrowing from kitchen scrap. So that thing of going as a team, so taking that idea and not just you doing it, but multiply. But now they've got 11 people doing it. They have best practices they can teach others.
And what is their goal
really
like?
Explode.
Yeah, like how is their goal like? Because first thing, if you're in a team, you should have a goal. Like you can say, Derrick and the friends, the three of them, want to have 100 urban gardens around a particular district or a state. And then you're going to put your heads together to start looking for resources. You're going to start putting together, because there's a step of planning where you guys have to plan your activities, things you want to do, strategizing, vision, having those missions together, things that you're all putting down together. Like as a team, of course, you should have a vision. Where is this thing taking you over in the next 50 years? But again, you have to look at those things you're going to achieve tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years, and then by 50 years, where your vision is, you have quite achieved something. So the simple steps. Yeah.
Okay,
simple steps.
So the planning, so this is all great. And that's part of what people are doing in the challenge is they're using the Climate Action Challenge book and workbook to define their personal vision and then their team's mission, and working on developing a list of 100 partners and learning from 10 exemplary models and coming up with a team profile. So the thing that we're getting, the question that we're getting a lot, Derrick, is that there's really different ways of going about it. If you're in the U.S. or if you're in Africa, like in the U.S., people can start a GoFundMe campaign, for example, and that's not something that's not eligible. If you're from an African country, you're not eligible for that. So people are wondering, okay, we need to raise $500 so we can get phones and computers so we can document and get our stuff organized, or maybe we've been doing a little bit and now we want to go to that next level. So what do you recommend for people? Let's take we have about 10 different challengers in Africa. We've got Zambia, Uganda, Nigeria, a few others, Kenya, where people have these goals, as you said, like, okay, I want to start a tree nursery and get 6,000 trees, or Jeffrey in Kenya is like, I want to plant 1 million trees, and he's been planting like 6,000 trees a week, so he might get there. But how do people get to that next level after they've been doing what they can on their own from their own pocket money in their own community? What do you see is the kind of mistakes people make? What could they be doing different to take it to that next level and get more support?
I think I'll start with the mistakes, because whenever we start from the good things, people forget the bad things that they're doing. Right. So I'll start from the mistakes people are doing. So many people have projects, you have initiatives, you have all these sort of things you're doing, amazing ventures out there. You have all these plans you've put down together. But now coming to the fundraising and resource based discussion, you find that what we are not doing is we are not engaging stakeholders. You want to start up an urban garden, but then you have not talked to prospect partners already on the list. You have this list that you've put down together of 100 partners, but then you have not gone ahead to see or write them a letter of interest. And then you're expecting, hey, I'm going to find support on internet, just, or find a site, I'll apply. And at times when you apply, we get issues like, hey, we are sorry, we regret, we do all these things. But the first thing should be engage that prospect partner you're prospecting to be a colleague or a friend, or engage that institution to be part of the partners already. Ask them for support. Ask them for first. You can engage them in knowledge, or brainstorming. Say, have this kind of engagement. But if I do this and this, do you think it's something that's going to work? Make them part of the solution best. Don't only be beggars, of resources, of money, of tools. The more you engage them and tell them, the more you report a need, and you're like, I think I need these tools to dig. Like, I need to have more hose to dig around, or do amazing things you're doing. They'll be attached. first thing I'm saying is make sure you attach yourself to the cause, but also attach support or prospect partners to the cause. If you tell me, Derrick, I have an urban garden I'm starting up and I need these tools to do these things, and I've been part of how you all your steps you're starting on planning. As I think I'm planning to do this, Derrick, I think I've started doing this thing, and I think now I have I had some little resources to do this. I'll also be happy to invest. You find that even the investments we have are people that live with us, your sisters, your brothers, your uncles, your relatives, all those people are part of the investments. That's why the first support always comes from home before you engage others. So communicate with first people around you. See how they can be part of support. Ask them for simple things. Don't rush to ask for big sums of money. Ask for simple things, you can get some support with. But from the simple research I did about those that have non-profits that are leaning or non-profits, the first step where people are getting the funding is from government institutions. Governments have some bit of funding, some fund, call it anything. Some have tree funds, some have forest funds that are giving out, some have wetland funds that are giving out for people that are innovating. Then there are also individuals that are willing to support the rich guys, people who have money, people who have made it, or your relatives and all those people. They have a percentage they can contribute to your project. And then we have foundations. Mostly people ignore foundations, but again, foundations are the ones that are supporting international organizations. So those are also part of people that can help you. We have corporations, we have the private sector, people that are willing to support innovations that are happening. So we find that all those people, if you alert them, if you send them a letter of interest, if you write to them inquiring if they will be happy to support that kind of venture or solution, that is one step towards getting us the funding that we all need, the resources. But as well, you look at the institutions that are always posting, like the Tree Fund. I've heard of the Tree Fund organization, always supporting those in terms of trees. As well, those in Africa, I don't yet know if we have any platform that is supporting Africans in terms of tree planting, but they could be there. It's just a matter of you networking with your forest departments, because your national forest departments actually have those institutions that fund them, or they have resources that we don't always inquire about. So that is going to get us a step. But also, how are you organized in terms of you accessing these, this support or your fundraising? First thing I'll say, some people want to do a GoFundMe. That's right. There's also giving away. It has, it can help you get some resources there if you use giving away. But mostly they go for already established institutions. You can also check them out. But also, if you have a website, you can put a donate button for people to donate. There are other platforms where you can go for to lean so that they can get money through them. And then you put a donate button on your website, and then you're going to be publicizing your website more than you publicize everything. Even social media, Facebook.
How does that work then, Derrick? So in the US, I would put a PayPal button. Is there something how would you actually set that up for somebody?
Yeah.
Is it more like you would just give them information about doing a bank transfer, or what are the details? Like, how would somebody actually do that?
Yeah, so like on our website, so you see that button where I said donate, and sort of with PayPal. Others, there are platforms that will accept you to put your bank details. Like Giving Away gives you that chance for you to have that link. They give you a link which you can always put out and say donate. You can also put on your website. You can put a donate button. When someone clicks, they'll go to that site where your details are, and then they can be able to donate maybe $50, maybe $250, and the rest. That also works. I was also saying Facebook also has some funding for people that have chance. The countries that have that kind of support, Facebook gives you chance to access that funding. Mostly for those that are 501c3,
right?
C, yeah. So there are those that always can access the funding. Mostly for media buzz, like for media, for you to get your initiative on our faces, and then people can they click on the link you have put in your Facebook page, or on your Twitter, and it's
Right.
promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are also those funding. So people, you have to diversify your funding calls.
Mm-mm.
It can come in media. You can get someone say, "Hey, do you have a media budget? Can I go on a TV and say, I need some funding?" That's also there. So someone can give you airtime just to go on a
Right.
TV. Yeah, so you also look for the TV and media or social
Radio
media. Someone
or
can go,
something. Yeah.
yeah, video, and then someone can get a grasp on what you're trying to say. Because I could be here, I'm seeing you posting pictures. I don't know what you're doing. I could say maybe it's for profit. You're making money out of that, and it's
Right.
not for social good. So at times, make those videos, let them
Okay.
share.
So I have
That's one
another.
step.
So last couple of questions as we're wrapping up here. So you mentioned that you're part of Earth Day Africa. You're also part of the Global Youth Biodiversity Network. Um, how can people engage with those organizations? What's the value? So I'm thinking about these 10 or so different projects in Africa that are doing tree planting or urban gardening as part of the challenge. Should they join Earth Day
Mhm.
Africa somehow? Should they join the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, and why?
Yeah, so I'll start with After Africa. So After Africa has it's a voluntary based thing. It's we mostly rely on volunteers taking action. That's why After they started is to activate individuals to make sure that they can take action. So so you find that most of the things we do is we empower you just to unlock you to do those actions, and also seeing that when you take them out, the opportunities with After Africa is we can showcase your work, or if you're going to do a fundraising event, or you want to do any other thing, we can always showcase your work on our social media platforms, on our website, and maybe you never know, someone could be out there interested in your work. Maybe you can also put your contact information there on the kind of blog that we always put out, on our weekly newsletters that always go out. We can just give you an highlight of what kind of work you're doing.
So
But
people
mostly,
should
after
they
they,
just should they join, or how do they become part of that then? Because
yeah,
that sounds amazing.
so when you go to earthday.org/Africa,
Okay.
earthday.org/Africa or /Africa,
Right. Yeah.
you go to that amazing website that we're trying to also add some more content there. There's always something like join. So when someone clicks
Okay.
there, so they become part of the network. So the benefits of being part of the network is we always have like webinars where people share. We can also host you on our webinar. You can say, oh, can we have a webinar next week maybe to talk about your initiative? Can we
Oh,
have a live
cool. Yeah.
Instagram live to talk
Okay.
about your thing? And then we shall request the main page, earthday.org, the main Washington, because it has more followers than the Africa program, to retweet. And then maybe someone in the US or in India or
Nice.
in Mexico
Okay.
is interested, because how the network works, it has all networks around the world. It has all these partners around the world. There has to be someone who's interested, or they can
Okay.
share
That's
in the
that's
comment
perfect.
section,
Yeah. Okay. So,
about maybe a link or a forum that
mm,
you can get support. That
okay.
works for us. So
Perfect.
I will encourage them to join the network for all
Okay.
those opportunities.
Perfect.
And then
Okay.
there's something called influencer program there. The influencers that we work with, and also the board members under the Earth Day. You never know, they could be want to invest in your project there as well. But yeah, but also all these amazing programs, if they can link you out there. It's just we
Okay.
want to put
Perfect.
you guys out there,
Okay. Right.
because
Yeah. Okay. So then how about the Global Youth Biodiversity Network? Should they also be joining that? Or how does that work?
yeah, so for the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, as well, you can go to the website gybn.org, and you see amazing work other young people are doing. If you are still young, if you're youth below 30, and as well. So it's GYBN is a family of amazing young people doing all this amazing work. We have those youth that have done research that will help you in a research paper, or they can help you with researching any other evidence or something you want to put in your initiative. Because when you're pitching out these ideas, you should be from a best like evidence based. You should have facts. You can just tell me biodiversity is getting wasted, and I can't see this. So first thing, they can help you with the
Right.
research. Another thing is there are also other networks around the country. We have so many networks, over 200,000 members. most over 198 countries. There are so many, youth that are part of the network. The
Oh,
first thing I've benefited of seeing that always helps, like maybe those in the challenge, is maybe these local, like, sorry, the youth organizations always network with their governments. So
mm,
it's always easier for you to get a government recommendation because we have a government focal point on biodiversity and also climate. People don't know there's always a government focal point on each program in environment. So first step is for you to get in touch with the government person. They always tell you where the resources are. They give you links. I've seen it with the climate adaptation department. They always tell you, oh, hey, there's some adaptation resources. Can you tap into this? There's a pitching.
I
There's a
see.
hackathon. Uh-huh.
So
So
the Global Youth Biodiversity Network team already knows who those
mhm,
people are,
yeah.
what those programs are that you could be
Mhm.
reaching out. Okay, so those are two great tips. So
And they can give you recommendations as well. They can help you, like if you're there, you're in touch with the national coordinator as well. They can help you recommend somewhere. And also there's this thing of a UN accreditation. We are the main youth constituency there in the UN. So if you get into those processes out there, you network with other organizations.
wow.
So our partner like WWF, AWF has been supporting our work in Uganda with the with the Uganda Youth Biodiversity Network, and they're now asking for projects. So they say, hey, can you help us? Are there youth that are doing this? So
Oh,
it's like, hey,
yeah.
I know
Okay,
like
great.
4 of them. Yeah. So I'd be
Yeah.
like, who's the network? I think like Marvin Kajeri, we always put links there like, guys, there's this opportunity. Can you apply for it? There's this. It's like a network of young people. We at times meet physically, at times meet virtually. We share resources together. We share meals together. We share discussions together. We learn together. And
Right.
it's like we are growing together. So it's like I will ask them to join all these networks because
Okay, perfect.
a network is like someone is there, another person is there. We come together and share. I
Awesome.
could not be knowing something, but then someone in the network could be knowing something
Right.
about a certain thing you're looking for. So
So
it's the beauty.
this is great. And when we did a happy hour last week with the African tree planting initiatives, and we did it on WhatsApp because Zoom doesn't always work for everybody if your internet is
Mm,
not up. But it was pretty cool because their idea was like, why don't we get on the map? Why
mm,
don't we somehow map all of our different projects and have an Africa wide initiative? And I think what I'm hearing you saying is that that two of the partners they could be working with and exploring this with is Earth Day Africa and
mhm.
the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, because there's already a lot of that network that's
Yeah,
already going.
for mapping, it's like there's something we're coming up under the Africa is we have a template in case someone wants to do something wants to be highlighted. We also have a map. If you go to our website, there's a map of actions that people have been doing globally.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you go there, like, hey, there's an event here, so you can go there and network. That's one thing that we offer. Is like you can go there and say in India or in Philippines, in where
So they
where is
can,
something happening?
okay. So that's
Uh-huh.
for anywhere. So they can be posting, yeah, because we have a lot of projects in the Philippines and elsewhere. So they can be posting their actions there to get
Mm-hmm.
visibility as well. All right.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then we are going to profile this kind of work you're doing. Another thing we have ambassadors we're working with in this context, and we're helping to brand them out there, to make them a
Yeah.
product. Because every time, because After has the capacity of having a BBC journalist, having a CNN journalist covering a story about our work. So
Right.
when you tap into this and then we are showcasing you, there's a journalist who's going to come ahead and he's like, hey, can we do a story about you? Now imagine you're in CNN and everyone globally is going to see a story
Right.
of, hey, this is Chris Marvin. He's in Uganda. He's doing something on tree planting. As part of the forest services, something. And then someone's going to do, what are you doing? Which type of trees are you working on? Which type of support do you
Right.
need? That's the language we
Yeah. And
need.
I think I'm just going to share my screen real quick to underscore, because that's a lot of what we're doing with the Climate Action Challenge. So we have the Impact Summit that's coming up. We've extended it a little bit. It's December 13th to 17th. And during that time, you're going to get to meet all these different challengers. And that's one of the things that we're doing now is writing up these different challenger profiles. So if you click on one, then you'll be able to see, some photos, a little bit about them, what their goal is, as well as go to their Facebook page or their website and be able to, um, be able to support them. And that's kind of a big part of what we're doing as well with the Climate Action Challenge. So thank you so much, Derrick, for spending time with us. You are a wealth of resources, and I think those tips about join Earth Day Africa, join the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, um, having that prospect list, reaching out to people, and not begging, but saying, hey, this is what we're thinking about. Is this something you'd be interested in? And kind of co-designing your initiative. So
I would say, lastly, I would just say, have a fundraising plan, because whenever you have a fundraising plan, you have a steps like, hey, we did a tent fundraising, we had to put a tent outside, because now it's COVID period, people are not really out, but the countries that are out already, you can put a simple tent outside, or you can even go to a church. I've ever gone to a church to do fundraising, by the way. When I do a project somewhere where we have to plant 10,000 trees, I went to a church, the guys commit, these are your trees, donate 1,000 Ugandan shillings only, and this is going to sponsor a tree they're going to plant in a certain school. People gave us money as part of the offer tree. So even churches, even
right, yeah. So
yeah.
there's
So
I think your energy around this is, and what you had said before is that there is money out there, there is support. You but
you just have to reach out.
it's on you to do it. And certainly, like, I know I've been talking to some people that are really kind of depressed, and the thing is, if you get depressed, you're not people don't want to work with you. I'm sorry to say that, but Mother Nature is providing seeds at no cost, and just go back to the very basics and just follow her role, that there is abundance, and that
Yeah.
you can do something, and then you're going to feel good. And when you feel good, people want to work with you. And I'm
I'll
sorry.
give them a simple
Yeah,
tip. If you
yeah,
feel you're stressed, or you feel like the kind of work you're doing, take some rest.
yeah,
There's never been a problem with you resting, because the good thing, you're working in a team. Share the challenges, share the experience.
yeah,
No one is perfect. We always have someone who's got a mentor. That's why this program, there's a mentor. Someone's going to talk to you and say, okay, now if you did this and did work, can I try out this? It's always about working together. It's always about collaboration. It's all about
yeah.
reaching out, asking for support. And also, do not
Asking for
forget to take
help.
a rest.
Yeah,
Do
right.
not forget to take a rest.
Yeah, because if you reach out when you're kind of feeling terrible, then it's not gonna go well. So yeah, take care of
And
yourself. So
it's
so
always about
Derek,
having that energy as well.
how should people contact you, or what is the best way to connect with you? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so first, I have an email address where I'm always really very active there. It's Mugisha Derrick Emmanuel at gmail.com. And
Okay.
also, you can also try my work email, maybe Mugisha at earthday.org. It also it works. I'm always on WhatsApp. For those who are always on WhatsApp, fast response. My WhatsApp number is at +256 701 74 9162, +256 701 74 9162. For those on Facebook, I'm always acting on Facebook, Derrick E. Mugisha. That's a simple. You just send a friend request. I'm always happy to respond. I'm also on Twitter, Derrick E. Mugisha, Instagram, Derrick E. Mugisha, LinkedIn, Derrick E. Mugisha. Everywhere, it's just about my name. Just get in
Okay.
touch. I'm always happy to share.
Okay, I'm just gonna put Derek E. Mugisha, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I think if people can't find you there,
Mhm.
then I don't know. They can just reach out, and I'll connect you or something. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple comments here from people. Bigger Al Islam is in Korea but works in Uganda, talking about all the different bioregional aspects. Oh yeah, I mean, there's we didn't go into the details of biodiversity
Yeah.
because it's kind of like climate change. If you hammer on how bad it is, then people are going to feel pretty crappy, and what we want is action. And so that's kind of why we went right on to that. And then Susan also left a comment saying thank you. So that was nice. All right. So we are on Patreon. Susan is one of our supporters. You can go to patreon.com/Green Team Academy and become a supporter. There's a lot of costs that go into running a podcast, into running a website, into all the things that we are doing to promote the environment and share with you people like Derrick that are out there doing amazing things. So, as he said, don't forget to ask. And so I'm asking you to support us. You can also go to climateactionchallenge.net, hit our donate button. You can see how our PayPal works there. Become a sponsor for our Impact Summit. We really appreciate your support making all this happen. So how's that, Derrick? I'm asking, putting it out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. And of course, I also encourage people to go to those sites and really support. Let's see how this initiative can have as many challenges as possible. I'm sure it's positive. It's this is something we can do. I don't know why it's not really hard to protect the environment. It's easy. It's as easy as that one. Please do the activities, do the challenge, complete it, engage as many people as possible, grow it, grow your initiative, engage as many volunteers as possible. The people would say, how can I be part, Derrick? How can I be part? Tell them how they can be part of your initiatives, and they'll be happy to support. They'll be happy to commit even a single, anything they want to give out. Yeah, so let's keep the fire burning. Let's keep.
All right.
Let's just keep
get that
ourselves
energy going.
Yeah, let's get the energy out there. Let's
Yeah,
engage everyone.
I think it's what you said too. I remember Dan Diaz said a lack of money should never prevent you from protecting the planet. And it's that thing, if you start thinking of excuses, well, I don't know this, I'm not that good at this, I don't know.
I'm not good at Facebook. Ask someone who's good at Facebook.
Yeah, it's like,
how do you post? Simple, guys.
Exactly. Right. So all these things are figure outable. You can make the difference. You can be the leaders that we've been waiting for. If we just step up, have those relationships with nature, with Mother Earth, kind of coming back to what you said, and be a responsible part. So all the other species will be like, yes, humans, we love you.
Maybe they can start.
Let's work together. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Derrick, for spending time with us. Really appreciate it. And everybody, I hope that you will register and see what all the amazing projects are that regular people are doing in our Impact Summit, December 13th to 17th. And thanks, Derrick, and have a beautiful evening.
Yeah, beautiful evening. Maybe my last word is no human is limited. We can do this together. Let's just do it.
Just do it. Perfect.